From atop the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. I'm going to tell you, we have a fantastic show for you tonight, because when it comes to long-time longevity of visiting the whole UFO phenomena, studying it, experiencing it, writing about it, there aren't many people like Tom Dongo in this field. Almost 50 years he has been researching and considers himself one of the leading authorities on everything from paranormal to UFO and ET research. He's a remote viewer. He's lectured literally across the United States and internationally as well at conferences. He has 8 books out. This guy has done it all, and we're going to learn all about it tonight, especially after half a century of doing this. We're going to learn something. How many times do we get to say that, especially with a veteran like this, Mr. Tom Dongo? It's been a long time that we have tried to get you on the show. You're finally here. I'm very excited about it. I know our audience is as well. Thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight.
Well, it's my pleasure. I'm real happy to be here.
We're happy to have you here, too. And we got to give a shout out here. So for our listeners who don't know, we have a listener in the state of Michigan who goes by Bigfoot Michigan Rob. He owns this bar called Scoreboard Lounge. And he's got a bunch of his patrons listening in to Spaced Out Radio tonight. They got the big screen with my ugly mug on it from our live YouTube feed. And he's watching this. And I hope I don't look too scary on that. But thank you so much for checking us out. We have a plethora of shows that are out there for you. So make sure you come on in and check us out. So have a good time with this tonight. Tom, I want to ask you, 50 years you've been doing this. 50 years you have been writing, researching all about these interesting phenomena that are out there. How did you get started and why?
Oh boy, that's well, it's kind of a long story, but when I was growing up in Maine, I grew up in Maine, and I was just out of high school, and I had no interest in UFOs or anything like that. But there was a big valley in front of the house, with a power line down there, and I noticed one night these red spheres, huge red spheres, going along and going down. I could see them going down through the trees near the power line. And this was when UFOs were constantly seen sucking power out of high power lines. This was, oh gosh, darn, it was, probably, it was in the 60s. So anyway, I noticed that 2 or 3 times. Then one night I was going into Portland, Maine, and I looked up, and there was it had been raining, but there was a space in the clouds, and this thing was flying along very slow, and it was silver, bright silver. It was fluttering like a leaf when it flew, and I thought that's really odd. So that got my attention for UFOs right there. But I for the most part, had no interest in UFOs until skip to I had a sporting goods store in Reno, Nevada, when I was in the ski business. I was in the snow ski business for a long time. And what really got me into all of this stuff, I've told this story about 1 million times, but I never get tired of it. We always take an hour. We had a real busy ski shop sporting goods store, so I take an hour for lunch, and I usually just go for a walk to get out. And one day I was walking along the sidewalk, and this giant pair of hands grabbed me. Sounds crazy as this sounds. I've heard this many times from other people. I mean, the hands were as big as half my body. It grabbed me, and I was going. I thought, well, this is kind of strange. Well, what the heck, I'll see what the deal is, so these hands were obviously guiding me. So I going down the sidewalk, and the hands turned me into this parking lot, steered me through these cars, and I was kind of getting a kick out of it. It was kind of weird, but it was, what the heck. So I got over to this store, and I opened the door, went through the door, and the hands were guiding me through these aisles of books, and got me all the way to the back of the store, and bent me over, and I was looking at Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts, and it's a channel book. Jane Roberts was a channel, and that's what started me in this whole thing. I spent 6 months studying that book. It was a big book. And I've talked to so many other people that Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts got them changed their life, and it certainly did mine.
Did you ever think a book could have that type of impact on you?
Well, the thing of it is, I used to teach channeling. I lived in Santa Cruz for a while, and I used to teach channeling is a very real thing. But I would say 95% of channelings are channeling their own subconscious. Very, very few channels are actually channeling a higher being. So the intelligence that was in that book of Seth was phenomenal, and evidently a few times some super geniuses, IQ of about 400. Tried to match wits with Jane Roberts when she was in trance with Seth, and they walked away and they would say every time, whoever that is, it's a massive intelligence, and no one can keep up with Seth. So a real channel can't fake that stuff; they just can't. But it's so anyway. I was that's what got me started in this whole thing. I mean, it planted the seeds. And then I moved to Santa Cruz from Reno, and I got involved with the Berkeley Psychic Institute, and things really got kicked off there. It was a fantastic experience, and I found that I could do psychic things some of their best psychics couldn't do. And what really kicked it off for me was they would train people how to feel auras. People can see auras, but they were training people how to feel them. There'd be a person meditating in a chair, and you would walk up to them slow with your hands going back and forth, and you can actually feel the aura. I taught this for a long time after I learned how to do it, so I must have done this a dozen times with different people, and I got real discouraged. I don't feel anything. There's nothing there. So there was a woman from England. I'll never forget it as long as I live. It's like she was inside of a balloon, a bubble. I mean, I could feel it like it was, a balloon, blown up balloon. And I said, wow, so that's actually what really got me started. I said, if this is real, then there's got to be an incredible amount of other things that are real. If this is, I could feel it. And there was 3 layers. I got so good after a while, I could go 50 feet out. And I feel every layer of a person's aura. Because I taught this for years in Santa Cruz, off and on. And I would have a dowser. There was usually somebody that was a real good dowser in the group, and I'd send them outside. I'd say, I'll show. I usually had 20 or 30 people in a group, and so I would find the different layers of a person's aura, and then I would ask the person with the dowser to come in, and it never missed once. Wherever I said the outer layers of the person's aura were, the dowser hit it exactly every single time. I never missed it once. And the interesting thing about, I can still do it. I actually would still like to do it. I have some time on my hands now that I'm retired, but occasionally I would, if somebody had a hole in their aura, they were either sick or they're going to get sick. They had heart trouble or cancer or whatever. You could be running your hands over their auric field, and your hand would drop right into it. There'd be nothing there. So that meant something was seriously wrong with the person, or going to be. And I found 2 or 3 people who had no aura, none, zero. I would even get down to 2 inches next to their body, and that person was not going to live much longer. Their aura was gone, so the body would be gone next. So that's and I have found a few. Of course, I never told them that. I didn't say a thing, I didn't say a word. But so you name it, I've done it. I mean, anything you can think of, I've been involved in the last 50 years, and I can literally talk on any subject that's paranormal or esoteric, or because I've been there, I've done it. I've seen it and I've done it.
Tom, why do you believe?
Oh, well, good question, actually. I'm the world's biggest skeptic, and I have to prove something to myself before I'll believe it. So that's basically it. And if I can prove it to myself, then I know it's real. Well, we got lots of time tonight, but I'm also a natural remote viewer. I was born with the ability to remote view, and I've been teaching other people. Actually, now that we're on the air, on my Facebook page, it's my next to the last post. I've taught people how to remote view, and I've had so many people tell me it's awesome. I have friends that are government trained remote viewers, and they say my technique is in some ways better than the government's remote viewing technique. So I gave it away free. Everybody was saying, everybody else is charging $2,000, $4,000, and I said, no, I'm going to give it away. I'm not going to try to charge people. You can rent a big hall and charge a couple of $100 a head. And I said, no, I just don't want to do it. I'm not young anymore. I don't have the energy for that stuff, so I'll give it away. So if anybody is really interested in remote viewing, it's on my Facebook page, Tom Dongo. And it's an incredible experience. I've said it on my Facebook page. I really heartfully hope that I could teach 1 million people to remote view, because people have no idea what it's like to live and have an acute remote viewing ability. It's even hard to. I've tried to explain it to some people, and it's very difficult. And I know some remote viewers, and we boy, my mind's going about 10 different directions, about 10 different things right now. But I know remote viewers, government trained remote viewers, and we have a heck of a time when we get together because we can talk the same language. So yeah, that's kind of that.
When did you start having your own experiences?
I'm so weird. The University of California, Berkeley, 20 years ago, wanted me to come there, all expenses paid, for 2 weeks. They wanted to study me. I do very strange things. I can do very strange things, and it was. I was sponsored by Jim Harder, one of their professors, and I turned him down because I didn't really know what. I knew a lot of I later learned that it had everything to do with extraterrestrials. That's my specialty right now, is extraterrestrials. So anyway, I didn't go, but I probably would have had a good time. I turned a lot of things down in those days, and I'm not really sure why. I think I was a little bit fearful of a lot of things.
Now, when you started having your own experiences that led you down this path, because, I mean, everybody has to have their own path to see where it goes. I mean, it's not just a bunch of a woo out there that we think, hey, this is a lot of fun, and we want to make sure that we take this as far as we could go, because it could be a pretty damn good time out there. Experiences usually lead us down this rabbit hole for a lot of us, the majority of us. For you, when you started having your own experiences, was it one door that opened to a number of doors and you investigated each of those to see what was behind it and just kind of fell through and went with the punches, so to speak?
Well, that's a really good question. Out of the millions of questions that as people have asked me, they never asked me that question before. That's a good question.
Well, thank you.
I've got to think. Yeah. Nobody has ever asked me that before. in all the talk shows, the many talk shows I've been on. So that's actually very good. I think how I would have to say that is I had the abilities, but one thing led to another, and then I realized how good a remote viewer I am. I have I know what the I have a government remote viewer friends, so I know what they can do, so I have abilities they don't. They can't do what I can do, but they can do the things I can't do. Like for example, 10 years ago, I was talking to Joe McMonagle. He was at the time, I think, the best in the government had, and he said we can now go to a safe in I'll say Russia. We can go to a safe in Russia, and we can go into the safe to a stack of papers, 100 documents, and we can go down through those documents and find the paper we want and read it. Now that's something a remote viewer, no remote viewer on the planet could do 30 years ago. Because I know when I was in on remote viewing when it started. Now, remote viewing, to people that are wondering what is remote viewing? Remote viewing, all it is projecting your subconscious to a place. Time and distance have no meaning. You in any place, 1,000 miles away or way out into space. I've gone out into space so many times. I'm actually a little bit bored. I had a friend, a woman. She was a government-trained remote viewer, and she was also I got to be careful with this. There's some really sensitive stuff here. She was a government remote viewer. I mean, a government remote viewer and a psychic. She was an awesome natural psychic. And she and I used to get together, and we had incredible fun. We could travel out into space, out into the stars, and talk about what we were seeing and that kind of stuff. And I've never had that experience with anybody else, ever. But I did with her. But she had, no, I better not talk about this. We might get to it later, because a friend of mine, no, I'm going to leave this. A friend of mine is a lieutenant colonel.
Yeah, you know what? If you got to leave it, I don't want to get you in any sort of trouble, for sharing stories you shouldn't. That's not what we're about here.
No.
Normally I don't ask a lot of audience questions in the first hour, but considering that I have somebody in Belgium who is sneaking around right now behind work listening to the show. Natalie, I'm going to get to your question here, and she is asking, Tom, have there ever been any abilities that you have that you did not know of when you were just starting out but came up and resurfaced when you started this journey that you have now developed further again?
Yeah, another excellent question, yes. And, I had a person, a world-class psychic, come up to me one time, and she said, Tom, you did not learn those things on this planet. You learned them on another planet, and you're bringing them back to life now. And I thought, well, I never forgot that, because it rang true.
That's interesting. So out of that, out of the experiences that you have had, and you have run the gamut on a lot of these, is there anything you regret? Is there anything that you could change if you wanted to?
Yeah, another good question. Well, we're on a roll tonight. I had an experience it was about 10 months ago. If you're a remote viewer, I've solved murders. I think I've solved 3 or 4 murders. It's not hard for me because a remote viewer can go right into the murder. A friend of mine she's not listening tonight, but it was about 6 months ago. She was talking to me, and she said and before I get into this, I will not work on murders. I will not. So if anybody's thinking of that, so don't ask. But so anyway, she said her sister's daughter was murdered about a month ago. Pretty little 9-year-old blonde. And instantly, this is what happens when you're a remote viewer. You will spontaneously be drawn into something. And I'm used to it now, but it can be pretty scary. So I was there watching the guy kill the girl. I heard what she said. I felt what she felt. I felt what he felt, what he said. I could see him just as plain as somebody was standing right in front of me. And he hung the little girl. And I knew exactly what she felt while she was dying. I cried. Chokes me up even now. I cried for 2 days over that. So anyway, a couple of days later, I thought a long time about talking about this on a show, but I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Sure.
So I said, I'm going to destroy that, the 4-letter word. I'm going to destroy him. So it didn't take me long to find him, and just seconds I found him. I found where he lived, and he was a parks and recreational worker, and he was getting ready to kill another little girl. So I crippled him. So I heard a voice that said, "You got him," and another voice said, "Don't kill him, or you will pay for it." So I thought, man, I really am going crazy. If you read my books, you'll read some of that stuff that I've done. That I thought I was going nuts, and then I found out it was somebody else was doing it, or it got validated somehow. So anyway, I was told by a great channel once, one of the world's best channels, that I was once a powerful warlock, long eons ago. So I'm wondering, did I, reestablish warlock powers to get this guy? Because it wasn't hard. So, Annie, I know you're listening. Annie told me this story. Hi, Annie. So anyway, Annie told me about some other people that have this ability, and they do it. She had the name of one of these fellas, and I have since learned that the government remote viewers do it a lot. So I'm going, well, doggone it, I wouldn't have imagined. But when the Americans and the Russians first started remote viewing, they were trying to kill each other. And the Russians were having heart attacks, and the Americans were having brain tumors, if I remember right. So anyway, they stopped doing that because they realized how destructive remote viewing can be. And if you use remote viewing for a negative, a bad thing like spying on somebody else or trying to win the lottery, it'll blow up on you. It'll come back in your face. So, so anyway, that's that.
Tom, hold your thoughts right there, because we are going to go to a break here at the bottom of the hour. Tom Dongo is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We're going to get into some UFOs. What's really happening in the sky above us? Are they coming from another planet? Let's find out from Tom when we come back on the Mighty SOR next.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month, and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
We're taking Sunday nights out of this world on Spaced Out Radio. This is Michael W. Hall, also known as the Paranormal Lawyer. Together, we're going to go on an exciting journey into the unknown. I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate the time. And we want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight we are talking with Tom Dongo tonight. He is 50 years into his research into this phenomena. Everything from paranormal, supernatural, ufological. Heck, I think he even goes after fairies and gnomes on his spare time when he actually has it. Why not? Why not? Tom, thank you so much for showing up tonight. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, my pleasure.
I appreciate that. What's happening in the sky above? Are we actually being surrounded by aliens? Are they coming on in, checking out our water, stealing our gold, filling up at volcanoes like they're gas stations? What's really going on, Tom?
Well, have we got 2 weeks? Yeah. That's my specialty, is extraterrestrials and UFOs. I did UFO tours for 21 years in Sedona, and saw so many. Well, let me start this off by saying extraterrestrials are absolutely real, and UFOs, they're UFOs. The U.S. government and some other countries have ships that look like alien spacecraft. They've had them for 50 years. So, but anyway. Yeah, I've seen about 400 UFOs. I have been within 200 yards of an alien spacecraft, and the Travel Channel actually did a reenactment of one. We need to talk about the Bradshaw Ranch tonight. There's a whole lot of people want me to talk about the Bradshaw Ranch, so we've got to do that. But I was coming from the Bradshaw Ranch. I spent 4.5 years, 3 or 4 nights a week on the Bradshaw Ranch, which was the paranormal center of the world for a long time. To start at the beginning, we've got plenty of time. I would come out of the Bradshaw Ranch tired, hungry, and a little bit annoyed, because it's such a late night thing. Every night it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. So most of the time, it was a 12-mile drive from Sedona, and 5 of those miles were no houses. Then it was just dirt road, a dirt ranch road. So something would be waiting for me just about every night, and I've had UFOs. Well, something protects me. It's either spiritual or extraterrestrial. I don't know which, but I've had so many times that I've written about it in my books. 6 times in my life I would have been killed, and I wasn't. It's long stories. So anyway, these run-ins I've had with UFOs with ships, I never got hurt in any way, and I didn't miss any time. I watched my watch. So anyway, coming out of the Bradshaw Ranch, there was usually something waiting for me. Something. Usually it'd be a extraterrestrial craft. An extraterrestrial craft, when they're powered up, they're usually surrounded by a force field of orange, red, or white light. So these huge 50-foot spheres would wait for me. And one night, there was one right over the road where I would have to go down, and I would have had to go right underneath it, or whatever. And there was another one above it to the left, about 100 feet higher. And these were both about 50 feet, 50 feet in diameter. So I sat on top of Bradshaw Hill looking at these damn things. I said, well, what am I going to do? So I said, out of heck with it. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I want to go home. So I had a big van then. So I started down the hill, and the only spot where I lost sight of them for just 2 or 3 seconds, I came up on the other side of the hill, and they were gone. They blinked out. Either that, or they just turned their lights out, and I just couldn't see them. So I thought, okay, good, fine. So I just kept going, and I watched my watch constantly, so make sure I didn't have any missing time. That's how abductions happen. And so I got a ways further one night, and there was a crossroads down there, and I saw a white light following me through the trees, and I wouldn't repeat what I said that night. That's when a white light follows you in the trees low. That's usually the start of an abduction. So I'll put in here that I've interviewed about 400 to 500 people over the years that have had abductee or contactee experiences. So anyway, I knew the scenario, I knew the routine, right? So anyway, I kept going and getting more peed off every second. That they have the nerve to try that with me, right? So anyway, the thing took off, and so I thought, well, good, now I can go home. So I went about 2 miles further. I came around the corner, and Doe Mountain was right there. And here's this spaceship sitting there waiting for me. And it was about 50 feet across. It had 50. It had flashing multicolored lights all around it, spiraling around it, circling it. And I was going about 20. Actually, I stopped first. And I got out, and I was going about 20 miles an hour, and it was going about 20 miles an hour. A million times, I've wondered, because I would have met this ship right at the top of the pass up there, the Boynton Pass. And so I got out of my car and looked at this thing, and it was unfortunately I never thought of a camera. We only had 35 millimeter cameras, and they were not very good at taking pictures at night. So. Anyway, I got out and I said, this isn't exactly what I said, but I said in my mind, I am just not in a mood for this kind of crap tonight. And I didn't say crap, I said something else. So the Travel Channel did a reenactment of this, and it was pretty good. So anyway, the ship stopped, sat there for maybe a few seconds, and then in 2 seconds, it was gone over the horizon, just incredible speed. So by then I was stunned out of my mind, because I realized they'd been reading my thoughts all the time, and that's what they do. We can spend the next hour talking about these stories where extraterrestrial ships have read my mind. And actually, I want to tell a couple of good stories after this.
Yeah, we got time. We got like 16 minutes to break. So you tell us, man. We want this woo. We want this woo.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I have to say here that almost everything I say I can prove. I don't just blow smoke out of my ears. Yeah, no, I've had witnesses. Almost everything I write about, I can prove it. Usually through witnesses or some kind of documentation or whatever. I don't just. I know too many people. I know what they say is fantasy. It drives me nuts. Because it's just something they fantasize. So anyway, all right. So getting back to these other, I have to mention that I know people like ex-military, people with top secret clearances. Most of them are retired military, and some. One of my friends still has he's retired, but he still has an active top secret clearance. So I'm going, wow. Didn't know they could do that. So anyway, I have a number of colonels, Air Force, Marines, Army, you name it. I don't know why it's always colonels, but they are. So anyway, I have people I can talk to and ask them questions, serious questions. This one night, we weren't on the Bradshaw Ranch, but we were close. Because the Bradshaw Ranch is now it's owned by the U.S. government. They're going to it's about 90 acres, and we need to get into the Bradshaw Ranch a little bit here later. But they're going to the University of Northern Arizona is going to build. They're going to bulldoze the ranch buildings and build dormitories there for students. So that was the Bradshaw Ranch was like the Skinwalker Ranch and the Stardust Ranch here in Arizona, all incredibly strange. So anyway, we'll get to the Bradshaw Ranch a little bit later. But so one night, I had a tour, and there were 13 people that were witnesses to this. So it's not just me blowing steam. As crazy as it sounds. So we were out on my spot out in the desert, and it's pretty remote. Well, then it was. Now it's like downtown Los Angeles, but then it was very remote. There was nobody around, no lights, no contamination for the night sky. So we were. It was after dark, and we were all out with our binoculars and all that stuff. And I saw an object close by. It was a blue light, and I focused on it with the binoculars that I had. And I looked at it, and I got everybody else. Everybody had binoculars. I said, "Look at this! I think it's a spacecraft being repaired on the ground." So we had 3 cameras, and this happens often in UFO incidents. We had 3 very expensive video cameras, and one was a movie. You could take videos with it and make it. It was a movie. You could make it actually into a movie, a motion picture. That was that good. But none of the cameras would focus. None of them. So because they tried to take pictures of this, zoom in and out with the zoom lens, but they couldn't. So anyway, we were watching this thing. And we all got a good look at it. It was a disc on the ground. It had a red light all the way around it, and it had a blue light, a beautiful, incredibly light blue light above it. And it had damage at 5 o'clock. It must have hit something, or maybe a rocket hit it, or whatever. I don't know, but there were lights. It looked like workmen walking around this thing with huge lights in their hand, working on this damage. And we couldn't see the damage quite, but you could see a shadow there. But you couldn't see anybody carrying the lights, but you could see the lights moving around. There were 4 or 5 of them moving around this damage. And then at a certain point, another blue light blinked on and went way up high. And I mean, it was incredibly beautiful blue. It's hard to describe that color, that type of blue, that luminous blue. So anyway, we were watching this, and my friend, he had a new girlfriend, so he wanted to impress her. So he had a 4-wheel drive, and he went down there. And we tried to talk him out of it. He said, "You're crazy. That's a big mistake. Don't do it." We really were getting kind of angry with him, and so anyway, he did it anyway. He had this new girlfriend. He wanted to impress her, so he got down there. We could see it when he got down there. He found a way to get over to that ship. So we watched his headlights, bouncing up and down, and he got so close we could see his headlights on this thing. And when he got close to it, his girlfriend said, "You can let me out right here because I'm not getting any closer to that thing." So then he turned around and went back. But when his high beams hit that thing, the ship started to pulse. And when they pulse, that means they're getting ready to shoot.
Yes.
That means danger. I've seen it a number of times now. So anyway, he came back up, and a friend of mine is a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. So I said to him, "Ron, what we saw," and he's a total believer in UFOs. And so I said, "What do you think? You think it was an alien craft?" And he said, "Absolutely. If it was one of ours, a government ship, it would have been surrounded by attack helicopters and soldiers on the ground with machine guns." So anyway, we a couple of hours later, it was still there when we left. We couldn't take pictures of it, so we figured, we'll leave. So anyway, so that was that. And like I say, there were 13 witnesses, and I can connect some. I could find a couple of them now. I still know where they are. And one of them, Sherida, she says, "Anytime you want me to come on a show and be a witness, I'll do that. I'll testify." So anyway, so a week later. This was during a 3-week period. I had another tour, and there was 2 women, and we saw this orange thing. For some reason, the UFOs around here are orange, a lot of orange, and So we saw these orange things, these funny, these kept blinking on and off in the sky, and that's let's in our minds, let's for 5 seconds, let's ask, please come on for 5 seconds so we can see you. You see, because they blink on and off here and just kept moving around. So what happened was this thing materialized. It was 1/4 mile across, and it was shaped like a boot. The funny thing is, it was shaped like an orange boot with 3 huge lights over the top of the bottom boot part, and it looked like it had you've seen a boat, like a 12-foot boat going across a calm lake at night, and they got a white light on the front of it to navigate with it. So this thing was on for exactly 5 seconds and blinked out. And we watched. We couldn't see any more of the orange, but we could see the white light. And Mingus Mountain is 18 miles away, and we could see that white light that was probably attached to the ship go into Mingus Mountain, and we could actually see that white light going behind the Ponderosa Pines. So then it was gone. So the next week, and again, 2 different women. The orange, we saw the orange things again. So I said, well, this worked last week. Let's try it again. So let's ask it to blink on and come on for at least 5 seconds so we can see it and maybe photograph it. So so now Mingus Mountain is 18 miles away, and we all know what a Roman candle looks like. And this thing put on a show, and it was like a Roman candle behind the mountains. So for 2.5 seconds, one way to the left, it shot these Roman candle-sized 1/4 mile orange balls of light up into the sky, way up into the sky. That went on for about 2.5 seconds. Then to the right, in another angled direction, it shot these orange balls of light up in the sky, and it for 5 seconds. It lasted just 5 seconds. Well, we were so stunned we couldn't talk for for quite a while, for a few minutes. But that's the kind of stuff I've seen here. I mean, this is a strange place. Why is it strange? I don't know. In my audience has usually asked me, why is Sedona such a strange place? And I don't know. It's the red rocks. The red rocks here. The mountains are red.
Yeah.
So,
do you believe there are portals somewhere over or around Sedona? Because I've talked to Melinda Leslie a number of times about this, and she's a good friend of our show here. And I'm just wondering if that's even possible, that these craft are using these portals or these dimensional jump rooms or whatever it may be to come in and out of that area. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, I got 2 things on my mind. Yeah, we need to stick with the Bradshaw Ranch. There's so many incredible stories I've got about that, and it's in my book, Merging Dimensions. If anybody, I gotta plug Merging Dimensions. My new book, my revised book, the 2nd edition, is Merging, Merging Dimensions, and it talks about the Bradshaw Ranch. And my Amazon has tons of them, and my publisher has a ton of them too. So I need to. It's a very good selling book. So we need to sell some books. But so it's a very popular book, Merging Dimensions. It's a hot seller right now. So if you want to really get in on this stuff, I write about all this stuff in Merging Dimensions. If you go on my website, tomdongo.com. My webmaster said he put it back up, and I don't know if he did because I haven't seen it. 30% off the book plus shipping on my website, tomdongo.com, or you can go on Amazon, and Amazon has tons of them. So either way, I'd be happy to sell more Merging Dimensions because we got a lot of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, So
and there it is. The reason why I'm kind of dodging the Bradshaw Ranch right now is because I want to get into that next hour, so we have a full hour to deal with it.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
you know,
You betcha.
And so, in regards to the experiences that you have witnessed, and you've had witnesses too, do you believe that getting back to the original question, that there is some sort of portal opening up?
I'm going to tell you a story. I was, I got to slow down a little bit so I can get all this together.
We got about 3 minutes before we go to break.
Okay, let's do this after the break. But yes, portals. The Bradshaw Ranch had a portal on it. It got to be world famous, and it was about 50 feet south of the ranch house, about 30 feet in the air, and about 20 feet in diameter. You couldn't really see it, but you could feel stuff coming through it, and it got to be world famous. We had camera crews from everywhere in the world come out there to film, and absolutely, they're coming through portals, and I'll bring something up after the break that's really applies to this. Fantastic stuff.
So you are a believer because you've seen it with your own eyes, and you've showed other people that this phenomena is happening. What do you think is causing it? As we got about 2 minutes to go here.
Portals, you mean?
Portals, like, are they being created by these aliens? Are they just natural to Earth? What do you think?
Oh boy, another good question. They probably are there. But when we get to the Bradshaw Ranch, I'll tell you some stories about portals. They're probably there, but they can open them and close them like a door. That's what I think. They can close them and shut them, but they're still there. So, but I'll tell you a story after the break that connects with this real good. It kind of explains some of this stuff. So I think most ships, most UFOs are not coming from the stars. They're coming from dimensions, and some of them are coming from the stars. There's no question about it, because I can remote view that. I can see them. But it's a very complicated subject. Very, very complicated stuff. I can spend hours on. But portals are definitely for real.
Well, let's learn what came out of those portals when we come back here, because I'm reading the chat rooms here, and I'm seeing, like, on Twitter, everybody's like, "Tell me what's in those damn portals, man. We got to do this. We got to do this." So don't worry, we will get to the portals at the Bradshaw Ranch as well, coming up here in hour number 2. Tom, I'm going to get you to hold on right here, because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. Yes, people. Tom Dongo is here with us tonight, and we are talking UFOs. We're going to get into some paranormal. We're going to get into some portals, dimensions. Where are the aliens coming from? Are they our future? Are they our past? Or are they just from out there? Tom's website, tomdongo.com, if you want to check it on out. He's got a great book on there called Merging Dimensions, The Incredible Saga at the Bradshaw Ranch. Oh, we're going to have more fun with Tom tonight. He's going to break it on down. Turn up the woo, people, because we're about to have a lot of fun learning some strange stories from our guest tonight, Tom Dongo. We'll be back with hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio coming up right after this.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent, and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there. The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Hey, Space Travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate that. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and on the digital side on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember to check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Rumbustious. Rumbustious is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight we are talking with Tom Dongo. A life of experiences and research has led him to a couple of great books, man, including Merging Dimensions, which you can find on Amazon or his website, tomdongo.com. I want you to check that on out. And right before the break, Tom kept on talking about this Bradshaw Ranch. What is going on there? What is happening? What is the high strangeness that we're going to learn about right now? Tom, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, love to be here. Yeah, great.
Tom, for people who may not be familiar with the Bradshaw Ranch, take us a couple of minutes down history lane. Let's go through that and what is actually going on there.
Well, okay, there's I kind of start from the beginning of it. We've covered a little bit of it so far, so I'll kind of start from the beginning. There are 3 ranches in Arizona: the Bradshaw Ranch, the Skinwalker Ranch, and the Stardust Ranch, all equally as strange. The Skinwalker Ranch has phenomenal high strangeness stuff that goes on there, but it's a shame that the Bradshaw Ranch has now been kind of neglected since the U.S. government bought it. But so at any rate, Bob Bradshaw bought the place. It's by itself. It's about 6 air miles from Sedona. It's 90 acres, and many full-length Western movies were filmed there with Elvis Presley, John Wayne, Maureen O'Hara. The top stars were there, and so they built this old Western town on the Bradshaw Ranch, and so a lot of movies were filmed there. The scenery is spectacular. So Bob bought the place. Bob bought the place in 1949, and so I asked Bob. He was pretty old when I was out there. Both he and Linda have passed away. They're not with us anymore. So I asked Bob. I said, "What do you know about the paranormal stuff that goes on around here? What's the earliest time you know of that something weird happened around here?" And he said 1922. Bob had the ranching rights, the grazing rights to all the canyon lands. When he died, he lost it. He reverted back to the government. So he said that in Secret Canyon, I've written about Secret Canyon in two of my books. And Secret Canyon is one of the weirdest places on this planet. So many things happen in Secret Canyon. And actually, I asked Bob one time, how did the name Secret Canyon ever come about? He said, I don't know. I've asked around, and nobody knows. So I thought that's kind of strange. And Secret it's a strange. It's a 7-mile deep canyon, and so Bob had all the grazing rights to those canyons. And in 1922, 2 cowboys were in Secret Canyon looking for lost cows, and the canyon suddenly filled with fog, and there's never fog in the canyons, never. Maybe above the canyons, but never in the canyons. I've been here in this area now for 34 years. I lived in Sedona 33. I live in Cottonwood now, which is 20 miles south of Sedona. But so the canyon started to fill with fog. It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was just afternoon, and the fog got real thick, and they heard a roaring sound. Now this is 1922. They thought somehow they'd gotten lost and were up at Flagstaff, and there's a railroad track up there. They couldn't understand it, but they thought that somehow they'd gotten lost and they were up at Flagstaff, which is impossible from Secret Canyon. There's no way I don't think you could even get to Flagstaff if you wanted to. So anyway, above them, a bright glowing light came over the rim of the canyon, into the canyon, and it was extremely bright sphere of light. It probably would have been about 50 feet across, I would estimate. And anyway, that's where the story ends. So that's a very typical abduction scenario. So I'll get back to Bradshaw Ranch in a second, but in Sycamore Canyon, there was Sycamore Canyon is a beautiful canyon. It's 33 miles long. It's about 15 miles straight from Sedona. It's nearer to Clarkdale and Cottonwood. It's a beautiful canyon. Half of it is beautiful. It's lush springs, crystal pure springs. But some of the springs are crystal pure and completely drinkable, and some of them are poison, deadly poison. So it's a strange place. The canyons around here are very strange. Things happen in the canyons that are hard to. And I forgot what I was going to say about Sycamore Canyon. Oh gosh, I forgot what I was going to say about Sycamore Canyon. But at any rate, Sycamore Canyon said, "Oh yes, okay, I got it." There was two guys down there, and I'll call them Joe and Bob. So they would gone down there to camp for the night, and this would have been about 1960, and they'd hiked down into the canyon from the rim, which is very steep. I mean, it's a serious walk going from that canyon on the west side down into Sycamore Canyon, and I spent quite a Joe is his actual name. And I spent a lot of time interviewing this guy because it was such a crazy, it was a weird, crazy story. So anyway, they were in the canyon. It was crystal clear, but it was at night now, and a disc came over the canyon rim. And this has happened around here a lot. I can go on with a lot of stories. Unfortunately, I file all these stories in my brain hard drive. I don't write them down, so it's all committed to memory.
Oh, like most of us.
Yeah, like most of us. Well, I have friends that write down every word or put it on a computer, every single word. I don't have the patience. So anyway, this disc comes over the rim, and it's going very slow along the rim on the other side, which would have been about 150 yards probably. I'll say 100 yards. It was a disc about 30 feet across. So the other guy got his flashlight out and started flashing Morse code stuff to this. And Joe said, "Don't do that. I think that's not the thing to do." So just while this guy's flashing Morse code at this ship, Joe said a red beam of light came out of it and hit him in the face. He said it was like being kicked in the face by a mule. It knocked him off his feet, knocked him out. Yeah. And he said the last thing I can remember, this guy was in a panic, total panic, trying to drag Joe out of that canyon up that incredible steep wall. No way. And so he said, Joe said, that's the last thing he remembers. And then the next thing he remembers is it's daylight, and he's up on top of the rim. And so he asked the other guy, he says, what happened? What happened? What happened? And the guy said, don't ever ask me. Don't ever ask me. I will never tell you. Don't ever ask me again. So anyway, they stayed friends for about a week, and the other guy just took off. He said, I don't want to ever talk about that again. So the other guy knew what happened. My guess is they got abducted and they were taken on the ship. So anyway, that's what happened in Sycamore Canyon. So anyway, to get back to the Bradshaw Ranch, all this stuff goes hand in hand. You know, it's all like a puzzle. The Bradshaw Ranch. I got what actually started this whole thing. I got a letter from Linda Bradshaw. I'd heard about the things roundabout. This was before I think I had written one book, The Mysteries of Sedona. And I didn't know the Bradshaws, but I would die to go out there to see just to see the place, you know, because there's a fable around here, the Bradshaw Ranch. And so I got a letter from Linda. She said, the strange things have been happening out here, and I've heard of your reputation. And she said, would you come out and I can show you some stuff photographs I took. I was shoe leather over the hill getting over there because I got in my car right off and drove out there, and I spent 4.5 years out there 3 or 4 times a week. And Linda showed me these photographs. They were orbs. They were the first, Linda Bradshaw and Linda Crystal in Pine Bush, New York, pioneered orb photography. It started on the Bradshaw Ranch, and it started with Linda Crystal in Pine Bush, New York at exactly the same time. And they've both passed away now. They're both gone. So from Pine Bush, New York, and the Bradshaw Ranch in Sedona, Arizona, orb photography spread around the world in a matter of months. Orbs were seen around the world.
Interesting.
I think not that they were probably always there, but they became visible, and they're completely visible. Anybody in the world can do this right now, anytime with a digital camera or 30. We use 35 millimeters because there weren't any digital cameras then. Just go out and take flash pictures. The flash lights the orbs up. And these things are real. I mean, sometimes they can be dust, and sometimes it can be, if it's raining, you'll get raindrops that'll look like orbs. That leads me to about 5 more stories. I got to stick to this one. So,
yes.
Anyway, orbs are living things. I spent 20 years dealing with orbs, and they're alive. They're living things. They've probably been here a lot longer than humans have been here, and they're alive. We've actually played with these things. When on the Bradshaw Ranch, Linda and I Bob was an old dyed-in-the-wool Arizona redneck cowboy. He's a great fella, but he had a spaceship landed in the yard was surrounded by about 100 spheres of white light. And Bob was on national television twice when the crews were out there talking about this, and that was enough for Bob. He wouldn't come out. We tried to get him to come out, and he wouldn't. He'd stay in the house and watch television. We could not get Bob to come out. He never would. So anyway, yeah, when that ship, that disc landed on the ranch near the ranch house, that was enough for him. It was followed by about 100 orbs, small basketball-sized spheres. So Linda and I, the orbs, we thought these were airplane landing lights. I mean, for years we watched these things. We were out there at night, and we had 3 million candle power spotlights, battery-powered, rechargeable. And so I one night I said, Linda, I don't think those are because there's an airport in Cottonwood, which is not very far away. Air miles, it's about 10 miles. And I said, Linda, I don't think those things are landing lights. So we started playing games. There'd be maybe half a dozen of them floating. They kind of looked like landing lights, but then they would do funny things. It was unexplainable. They'd blink out, they'd move around, and they'd just disappear like balloons, floating around. So anyway, we started doing Morse code experiments with these lights, and they started flashing back. So then we knew these things were real, and they were intelligent.
How close were they to you?
Good question. There was somebody that did research on these things and wrote a book about it. I've never come across it, but he said that they have the. He thinks that they have the intelligence about the level of a dog or a cat, and I would agree with that. And these were like wild animals. They would come close and they'd blink off and they'd disappear. And we spent many months playing with these things, trying to get them to come closer. And Linda would ask if they'd come closer, and they would sometimes. They'd come closer. So there was one night, and I'll never forget this as long as I live. There was one of the spheres came pretty close, and I had my 3 million candle power spotlight, and I shined it left, right, back and forth. And that orb tried to mimic that spotlight. And it's something I've said it a million times. I wish what I've seen with my eyes, I could project that on a wall. It would change the world overnight, what I've seen that never got photographed. And this was one of them. So the orb tried to mimic the spotlight, and it was incredible to see. It would dim, get real bright, dim, get real bright. And these things can get as bright as the sun. I've seen them do that. They light up. They can light up a whole valley. I've seen them do it. So anyway, they started to come closer, and they got to the point where they seemed to like Linda. Linda actually, one night when I wasn't there, we had a video camera that would film at night. It was one of the first that would film, a zero lux camera. So anyway, Linda, we did this sort of stuff all the time because we found out these things are intelligent. So anyway, Linda was walking forward, but she had the camera shining, pointed behind her with it on, and I saw the film. It's amazing. The orb, one of the orbs, came right down into the bushes and was following Linda like a cautious animal. It would kind of zoom from one bush to the other, back and forth, and it was following Linda. Yeah, and it was following Linda. She's got it. She had it on tape, on film. And she really got a big kick out of it. They were totally harmless. They were nothing. So anyway, and we had them come real close, so that was kind of when the whole thing, they had to sell the ranch. They had some financial problems. But the orbs would come close to us. And unfortunately, we only had 35 millimeter equipment, cameras. And we begged some of the camera crews that were, there with $100,000 cameras that could film anything at night. And some of them were night vision, infrared. So they would film stuff. I mean, we had camera crews from everywhere, all over the world. The big studios in Hollywood, NBC, all of them were out there. So we would tell the camera crews, the Bradshaws didn't have a lot of money, neither did I at the time. So we had to use just the spotlights, the 3 million candle power spotlights, and 35 millimeter point and shoot flash cameras. That's all we could afford. So we would beg these camera crews, go back to your boss at the studio and tell them what you saw, show them the film, and we need equipment out here. We need scientific stuff. We need to document this because we know it's going to just vanish someday like these things always do. So they would go back, we'd have one guy that we'd be in contact with, and they'd go back to like Universal Studios was one of them. I remember that well. And they would, and their bosses shot them down every single time. Didn't want to hear about it. So we would have taken anything we could get, anything. So we said, look, ask your boss to lend us a cameraman with a camera, with one of those $100,000 cameras, and leave him here for 2 weeks. You can have all rights to what he films. You can have it as long as we get copies. So they wouldn't even do that. And I mean, and some of the stuff we saw that could have been filmed with cameras that could film in the night, in the dark. They all the cameras can do that now. Zero Lux cameras.
Yeah,
I've got 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where that went. No camera crews would help us out.
Tom, we got about 3 minutes here before we got to go to break at the bottom of the hour. With all of this action that you were having at the Bradshaw Ranch, were there any similarities to the sightings over the years that maybe on certain dates or certain weather patterns where these craft would show up?
Boy, you're really asking excellent questions. But the best I've ever had from audiences, you're asking them, or your listeners are. I'm serious. No, there's no pattern to it whatsoever. None. It's totally, utterly random. You can go looking, and you're not going to see anything. But when you're not prepared for it, and your camera's in your trunk, that's when you're going to see it. To be ready for it all the time is almost impossible. You can have a camera in your hand all the time. As soon as you set it down and went to take a leak or whatever, then it would show up. When you come outside, there it is, but you don't have the camera. Or, and this has happened to me 2 or 3 times, something would appear in front of you, and you would be so stunned, because I had a Sony camera in my hand that I had 2 Sony cameras that would film anything the human eye could see. They would film it. Incredible cameras. And so anyway, I have been so stunned by what I was looking at close, right in front of me. After it was gone, I realized I had a video camera right in my hand. All I had to do was bring it up and push the record button. So I think 3 or 4 times that has happened to me.
Interesting. What about animal mutilations? Were there any of those going on in that area as well?
No. Another good question. No. Actually, no. I'd have to say no. But northern Arizona had about Chris O'Brien, and he was in Crestone, Colorado at the time. He kind of elaborated on that on another site that what happened up. There have been mutilations. In northern Arizona, I think there were about 8, and they were genuine mutilations, but none near here anywhere. None, 0. But the authorities were. This makes me crazy. They were trying to figure out how cougars, mountain lions and coyotes could make precision cuts, and core out an anal of a cow, and make all these laser-like cuts, and so I'm smacking my head. Are these guys really that stupid that they don't know about cattle mutilations? And there's probably been 100,000 by now, and nobody's ever been caught or arrested.
Right.
Doing cattle
Tom, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. When we come back, we got a bunch of questions coming from our audience that I want to get to you, because their questions are just as brilliant, and we want to make sure we get them involved in this show. Tom Dongo's website is tomdongo.com. Check it on out. More Spaced Out Radio coming up after this.
We're taking Sunday nights out of this world on Spaced Out Radio. This is Michael W. Hall, also known as the Paranormal Lawyer. Together, we're going to go on an exciting journey into the unknown. I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today. We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, hanging out with all of you from SOR headquarters here on top of the mountains of BC. Thank you so much for joining us. We welcome back everyone listening in, wherever you may be. And a reminder to you that all of our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and my personal handle at Dave Scott, SOR. There you go. And on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tom Dongo is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We're talking everything from UFOs to the Bradshaw Ranch to paranormal activity. He's seen it, done it all, experienced it, even remote viewed it. His website, tomdongo.com. Tom, welcome back to the show.
Yep, I am here.
Appreciate you doing that. And, you know, Tom, there's a lot of brilliant people in this field, whether they are researchers, authors, or whether they are just general public who have an interest in these topics because it's either curiosity or the fact that they've experienced something themselves that they cannot explain. Is there, in your mind, a real definition as to what the paranormal is as an umbrella term for everything that is strange and weird we're trying to figure out? And are we close to any of these answers?
Boy, another fantastic question. You know, that's something that I would, you know, we were just talking about. I wish I had another 25 years. I wish I could put all of that together somehow with what I know, because I probably have, I'm for sure one of the most knowledgeable people on the planet about all paranormal things. It's, you know, everything, because I know I've read or heard most of the researchers, and I've taken everything they know and put it into my box. What I know and what I've learned on my own and what I can remote view, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, oh boy, I think, you know, when Charles Fort died in 1921. He was the first real paranormal researcher, and his only means of research were newspaper clippings. When he quit, one day he quit doing research, and the last thing Charles Fort said, "We are somebody's herd of cattle." Think about that for a while. We are somebody's herd of cattle. I would have to agree. To some level, we are. I don't know how that fits in. And I've been able to remote view a lot of this. I can talk to extraterrestrials. It's a weird thing. I can. They have a strange language. It's a telepathic thing, but they send you pictures. I've gone back and forth with extraterrestrials, and I have never really been able to get an answer about something, why everything is, you know, and I think we're here for a reason. All of us people here on this planet are here for a reason. And so I you know, that's why I wish there were a million remote viewers, so I could, you know, so we could all get together and you know, compare notes.
Well, let's get to some audience questions here. Gary, the Spudger, is asking, Tom, what's your thoughts about somebody in this field like Corey Goode and his story about age regression?
Oh boy, somebody brings up Corey Goode. Corey Goode was a fraud. You know, from the minute I heard Corey Goode's stuff, I actually heard him talk at the contact in the desert, and people were. I mean, well, no, I won't say he was a total fraud. I think somebody programmed his mind. They downloaded a movie into his mind, and he believed every bit of it. But it was all BS. I mean, I'm kind of regretful that David Wilcock got involved in it, because I think David Wilcock was a better person than that. He's done him a lot of damage, David Wilcock. But I had to go to Corey Good's talk at the Contact in the Desert, and I almost went crazy. I said I'm going to sit here. I'm going to sit through this whole thing and hear what he says. And I mean, he used to be a rock star. I mean, he had evidently lines of people going around the block to hear him talk. And this blue avian crap he talks about, it's just that. It's crap. So anyway, before he even came out, and he acted bored before he came out. People were screaming, "We love you, Corey. We love you. We love you." I mean, even before he came out, and they gave him a standing ovation before he even sat down. I'm going nuts. I'm going back there. I'm just pulling my hair out. What's wrong with these people? And I mean, they couldn't. These people were, probably highly educated. Had a good income. Otherwise, they couldn't have spent the money to be there in the first place. So, I mean, I just walked out of there dazed, thinking, how could people be that gullible? Because of all the years I've spent, doing research, I knew everything he said was crap. It was just total BS. So it finally caught up with him, and he's in a big mess now. But no, Corey Good is not an intentional fraud. I think somebody, maybe the government maybe downloaded this stuff into his mind, because I've seen this before, and he really believes it. He totally, earnestly believes it. But he was supposed to do a 2-hour talk, and after an hour, he got so bored. He said, "Well, that's it, folks. Bye," and just walked off the stage. And I'm going, I can't take any more of this. I got to get out of here. This is too much for me. So anyway, that's my opinion of Corey Good.
All right, let's move on to the next question. Cable guy Matt is asking, do you believe there is a connection between aliens and Bigfoot?
Oh, good question. Another good one. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to talk about. I need to mention this. There was, very much so. They may. Well, this guy once told me a long time ago. He said, they all park their ships in the same garage. So, in a way, they do. But yes, aliens and Bigfoot. I studied Bigfoot for as long as I've been doing this, and they're real creatures, and they're all over the world. And they've been shot many times. People trying to collect a Bigfoot. So anyway, I those 2 stories that I know of, and my friend Annie told me this other story. He was a friend of hers, and he was in Mongolia, and he'd gone there. He was a CIA operative, and he had been sent to meet with a Bigfoot. And I said, "Bigfoot, you mean Yeti?" And he said, "Yes, Yeti." So this is going to get back to the portal thing. Now, pay attention to this. This is a critical thing. So now I know of another instance where a guy went to Mongolia and met with Yetis, and these Yetis could talk. The guy came out back and he said, these beings are incredibly intelligent. And they're Yetis. They're a Bigfoot, but they're a Yeti. A Mongolian Yeti, like in the Himalayas. They're a little different, skinnier and smaller. So anyway, this guy, I asked him a question. I said, after he said Bigfoot, I think he thought I didn't know about what a Yeti was. So I said, "Yeti, you mean?" And he said, "Yes, Yeti." So I said, and this really freaked me. Well, it didn't freak me out, but it really made me think. I said, these creatures have to be interdimensional because they appear and disappear. I've seen them myself. I've seen tracks appear, go 50 yards, and stop. Boy, I could be here all night telling these stories. So anyway, so I asked him. I said, I said these Yetis have to be interdimensional because they appear and disappear. And he said, no, they're not. But they're not interdimensional, but they have their own dimensions they can come and go from.
Oh, weird.
Their own dimensional shift that they can do. And I'm going, what? I never would have thought of that in a million years. He said, no, they're not interdimensional. They can't travel interdimensional, but they have their own dimension that they can travel in. And I've been mulling that over for a couple of months now. So somehow he knew, and the one that he encountered didn't talk, but he said the intelligence, the look of the intelligence in that creature's eye was phenomenal, like it knew everything, and it probably does. It does. I've interviewed a number of people that have had human alien contact and Bigfoot contact face to face, and some Big Feet can actually speak English. Crazy as it sounds, and Bigfoot has their own language. There was a guy in somehow the Air Force got involved in this, but he said there were Air Force personnel walking around. This was after Mount St. Helens blew up, and a lot of Big Feet were killed. And there was one Bigfoot that had a sling on its arm, and he said that the Air Force guy in uniform was walking around with a Bigfoot, and they were talking a language. So there's a lot of stuff we don't know, folks, that the government does know, and they're not telling us. And I know it's true, this stuff, because there was a woman in Oklahoma, had a big ranch, a big farm, and they had a family of Bigfoot living on the farm, and they could speak English. His whole family, a husband, wife, Bigfoot, kids, and she said, I used to give them books to read, and they'd critique the books. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's nothing compared to some of the things I've heard. And she was just an average, everyday housewife, decent person, nothing unusual about her. So these are a good example of some of the things that can happen, do happen on this planet.
That is intriguing. Let's move on here, my friend. Bullbuck is asking, who actually owns the Bradshaw Ranch now?
Well, I'm not totally sure because I really haven't been involved with it for a couple of years, but the U.S. government has leased, from what I know, the Forest Service, the U.S. Forest Service bought the Bradshaw Ranch through the U.S. government, and the U.S. government, or the Forest Service, has now leased the Bradshaw Ranch to the University of Northern Arizona, and the ranch is completely in ruins. The grass is waist high, the weeds, and the doors and windows are smashed in. So they're going to bulldoze. There's an old building. It's called the Old Adobe, and it's been there so long nobody knows who built it. But it's an adobe building that's going to stay. It's going to be a historical building. I guess they're going to restore it. It's a very, very interesting place. So, they're going to bulldoze the Bradshaw Ranch and build a huge dormitory there. And they've already started to cultivate it a little bit. They're going to study Arizona plants, native Arizona plants, and what weather changes, how these plants are affected by weather changes. There's a huge sign now they put up describing what they're going to do with the ranch, the University of Northern Arizona.
Right. Kevin is asking, Tom, do you believe there were aliens lined up on the edge of the crater during the first moon landing? And if so, what were their origin?
I think that story is true. Evidently, that was that broadcast. They radioed from the moon that what they saw, and they were very afraid. I've heard the story of that in many different ways, but I don't know whether I can remote view a lot of these. I have gone on to alien spacecraft if they're friendly, and I've talked to some of the crewmen. Sound crazy, right? Well, I found out the government's been doing this for years before I was. So I've gone on to alien spacecraft out in space and visited with the crew. So Colonel Corso, on the day after Roswell, the book, I believe he said there were 71 different races of extraterrestrials the government knew of at the time, and I know of other sources that bring it up to probably around 150. So I've been told the U.S. government knows everything they could ever want to know about extraterrestrials, their ships, where they're from, who they are. And I have a friend so there's many of them, but I have a friend that had top secret clearance, cosmic top secret clearance. I reviewed his book. I was asked by the publisher, little old me, to review his book before they published it. And he says that absolutely the U.S. government has been dealing with extraterrestrials since about the time of Roswell, the late 40s, middle 40s, late 40s, face to face with extraterrestrials, and probably back as early as the 30s, face to face. And they've been using alien technology. A lot of stuff we have now is alien. Computers, fiber optics, cell phones, it's alien. Came from alien ships. And incidentally, while we're on the subject, I have a friend that was he was retired lieutenant colonel, and he said that now this was 40 years ago, about 40 years ago. He was a lieutenant on a base. I mean, this stuff is no secret anymore. A lot of people are talking about it. He was working with, we probably won't have time to get into hybrids tonight, but he was working with a praying mantis hybrid. It was half human, half praying mantis. I mean, this is a guy that's a lieutenant colonel in the military. Is a guy like him going to make up a story like this? I don't think so. But he said, yeah. He said they were a little weird. Working with a praying mantis, but they were okay because they were half human. So they had human. They could be more comfortable with them. So there's the ones on the moon. Who knows? I couldn't remote view it. Some of these things I can try, and I can be right there, and I can get it clearly. And some I can try and not get anywhere. I wouldn't with those. I had no idea where they came from. They were probably human. There are about 12 human extraterrestrial races, 12 to 15.
Where are they located?
Good question. Well, I've interviewed 10 people now that had face-to-face human extraterrestrial conversations, and I've seen. I was a few feet away from two human extraterrestrials about a year ago, and I've had human extraterrestrials love to play tricks on us because we're so damn stupid. They think, well, we'll lay a couple more on them. And even me, I got caught off guard a few times. I vowed it. I think in one of my Facebook posts, I said they will never catch me off guard again. With human extraterrestrials. But so anyway, these people that have had face-to-face human and in every case, the extraterrestrials proved they were not from this planet. They showed them something that couldn't possibly have come from this planet. So, when I think it's Ben Rich, retired from. I know a lot about this. A lot that we don't have time to talk about. When Ben Rich retired from Lockheed, a friend of mine is a Lockheed retired vice president. A friend of mine. So anyway, this other guy, Ben Rich, he said, "Whatever you know or think you know, we are 2,000 years ahead of that right now." And he's not joking. We are. That's the way it is.
Right. That is very interesting. We've heard similar to that here on this show before as well. Tom Dongo is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We got 3.5 minutes before we got to go to break. Let's go over to Belgium, where Natalie is asking, Tom, can we ourselves move through portals or remote view through them?
Boy, so many good questions tonight. Boy, this is the best. This is the best talk show. This is the best interview I've ever been on. Very good question. Very, very good question. Well, I don't know. We tried it. Linda Bradshaw and I tried going through. We actually saw a being run into a portal, and we knew exactly. I'll tell that story after the break. Ancient Aliens was actually going to do a show on it. So I'll talk about it after the break. But Linda and I tried to go through it. We tried sticking an arm through it. Can you see my arm? Can you see my arm? Doing that stuff. Yes, in certain cases, you can walk through portals because people have disappeared and never come back.
All right, let's try and burn through a couple more questions here. Fitness Girl is asking, are portals artificially created or a natural phenomena?
I think an advanced being can create them at will, and some of them are probably natural. But I think in a really advanced, some of these beings are millions of years ahead of us. They can do stuff we can't even imagine. I mean, I've been able to remote view I had an alien. I went on one of these spaceships one time, and I asked an alien if he would stand in front of me, a very non-human alien, and asked him if I could probe his mind, and I did a little bit. So these, I can tell you from my experience, these creatures can make anything they want. Anything they want with their minds. They don't work with their hands like we do. They work with their minds.
All right. Gary is asking, Tom, can you remote view into moving UFOs, and what type of alien is in control of that ship?
Yeah, sure can. I'll tell a quick story that's really, really kind of funny. I was doing that, going on to, yes, I can do that. And it's easy. I've taught audiences how to do it, and it really freaks them out. I mean, it's fun watching the expressions on their faces. I have to tell them, it's not dangerous. It's not dangerous. They're freaking out. I think they're going to get it, disappeared or something. So yeah, I'll tell this one story. How much time we got, Dave?
We got about 40 seconds.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll wait till after the break.
All right, let's see if we can.
They absolutely do exist. I've been there. Yep. Good.
All right, quickly here, 30 seconds. Bullbuck wants to know what you think of the Bigfoot Sierra sounds that Ronald Moorhead caught.
I think they're absolutely genuine. I've heard them.
Me too.
I think they're absolutely genuine.
I've heard something similar to that too, and I would 100% agree with you on that. 100% agree. All right.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna get you to hold on there, Tom, because we are going to go to break here at the bottom or at the top of the hour here. TomDongo.com is Tom's website, where you can find his book as well. Actually, we got another minute. I screwed up on my clock here. We got let's just. Well, you know what? While we're there, let's ask another question. What the hell? Let's see where we're going here. Jules wants to know. Nope, that's not a question. Let's see here. What's your thoughts on Bob Lazar? Real? Not real? Worked at Area 51? What's your thoughts?
I would have to go with 100%. He's for real. I know about all of the stuff that that people think it was a duplicate. Well, I don't know, but I would have to say he's real because of other stories I've heard from other people about other things. So I would have to say Bob Lazar's. I'd have to back him 100%.
I got my own reasons for believing that he's the real deal, and maybe one day we'll talk about that, but I would agree with you. I think he did work there. I really did. Okay, Tom, now I'm going to get you to hold on. TomDongo.com is his website. You go there, you can check out a great book called Merging Dimensions, The Incredible Saga of the Bradshaw Ranch. We got Tom for another 30 minutes. We'll continue with your audience questions as well. Then we'll get to the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. Stay tuned. More Spaced Out Radio after this.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines Report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month, and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate you taking time out of your important day to hang on out and spend some time enjoying the woo with us. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and on the digital side on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. All of our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Rumbustious. Rumbustious is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show and our Twitter handle at Spaced Out Radio. For the final time tonight, we introduce Tom Dongo. TomDongo.com is his website. Been there, done that, and researched it all when it comes to everything strange, paranormal, supernatural, and ufological. We're going to continue with audience questions here right now. Tom, welcome back to the show.
Yep, I am here.
All right. So let's start off with a question from Joe down in Vegas. And he is asking, Tom, do you think these supernatural or super advanced beings can create or manifest UFOs, the beings inside, and maybe crash them on purpose so we think they are extraterrestrials, when in reality they are other dimensional and being influencing humanity since the beginning?
I would agree 100% with everything he said. It's entirely possible and probably is happening. There's, if you get into this stuff really deep, like I have, it gets weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder. Like I've said a million times, the more I know, the more confused I get because I go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And trying to make sense of this, see, we're dealing with beings that are millions of years ahead of us. I know. I've studied them enough. I spent the last 10 years studying extraterrestrials, and I hope nobody. I hope there is. Let's quit the little green men jokes, because these they're real, and they've come to help us many times before, and I've been trying to convince them to come in and help us now, not take over, but help us with some of the problems we have that are horrific right now. And if because you watch Ancient Aliens, the extraterrestrials have been here many times to help us humans. So I would wish they would do it again, and that all of the human extraterrestrials are safe. All of them. Some of them don't care about us at all. A few of them, they don't care what we do. It's a free will planet. But some of them are very, very afraid that we're going to blow it up again. There have been 2 nuclear wars on this planet. 2 civilizations have been destroyed before ours. Long subject. As far as I know, there have been six civilizations here on this planet, and the earliest one that I know of was carbon dated at about 3 billion years. So there's been a lot of stuff go on this planet, and they're really afraid that we're going to have a nuclear war. Hillier, the Canadian Prime Minister, said he knows a heck of a lot more than I do. He says that aliens are very afraid we're going to destroy this planet again. They're very afraid, but they can't come in. This is they have a Star Trek non-interference with aliens. Like the Star Trek show, they couldn't interfere with alien life forms. It's kind of the same way with them. They just can't come in. And take over. They can't do that. And incidentally, a friend of mine, Bill Hamilton, and Bill was the leading UFO researcher in the world about 25 years ago. He interviewed a guy, and the guy had talked to a human extraterrestrial, and he said, "Why don't you guys come in and stop us before we kill ourselves off or destroy the planet?" And the extraterrestrials said, we can't, because we would be held responsible for what you humans do. Now, think about that.
All right, let's move on to another question here. Gary is asking, Tom, if stars are planets or just lights in the sky, what have you remote viewed on this?
Are stars planets?
Yes.
No, I don't know. No, I really don't know. I couldn't answer that, but no, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. No, I don't. I can't answer that.
All right. Chris is asking, what do you think the purpose is of an alien presence here on Earth?
That's an easy one. They're studying us. Most of them are studying us. They want to see what. Most extraterrestrials have emotions under control. And so we don't. I mean, just look around, especially these days. So they're very interested in our emotions, but they're studying us. That's the main thing they do, and they try to stay out of our way, but they're here. There are probably several 100,000 human extraterrestrials among us. I mean, I could talk about this for the next hour because I've run into a few of them. And I'm talking hundreds of thousands on the Earth, and probably many, many here in this country. And no, they're not walk-ins. They are extraterrestrials from other planets out there in the stars, and they're here to study us. And the human ones look so much like ours. The cab you took from the airport, the guy driving it could have been a human extraterrestrial, a real one. So.
Never thought about that. All right, follow up from Chris. How do you calm your own ego to remote view properly?
Yep. Boy, another fantastic question. You have to be able to control your ego in just about any of this, especially remote viewing. You have to ditch your ego. If you go, anybody that wants to go onto my Facebook page and see the post I wrote about remote viewing, if you read that and are serious about remote viewing, you can learn it. And I've given the keys to do it there. It works. I know remote viewing. I'm an expert remote viewer, and it works because it works for me. So you read that, and then you'll see what I've been talking about. It's to be a remote viewer, a really good one, like I am, is an incredible experience. I dearly wish that I could teach 1 million people how to remote view and experience it with me and see what I see.
All right. Gary is asking, when you are remote viewing, can you view into the future or the past?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, you can. Actually, I was, excuse me. I know of, I guess I can speak about this. I can speak about this. There's a project, and there's a woman. Sometimes, for something to work, it needs a person as a catalyst. And in this thing, there's a camera, like a camera. And this woman is a catalyst. She has to be there for this thing to work, but they can send it into the future or into the past and come back, and it will you have like developed photographs, prints. I was told about this, and I was told that they wanted me to get involved in it, and this has happened to me many times. And then suddenly it just ended. It stopped. I never heard another word about it. So somebody said no, probably, but I never heard another thing about it. But yes, you can remote viewing. You can go into the future, go into the past. But it's oh boy, we're really getting into some heavy stuff here. Lynn Buchanan, who is I just read this a couple of days ago. If you're a really good remote viewer, and Lynn Buchanan wrote this piece, and it's brilliant. If you go into the future, and you're a remote viewer, you go into the past, you can change the future. You can actually, by you going there, so you have to be very careful. You don't disturb things. And I read that, and I said, that is absolutely incredible. I never thought of that. But to be a really conscientious person, careful person, thoughtful person, kind person, you would be aware of that, and you'd be careful not to disturb things. But I thought that was that written by Lynn Buchanan was brilliant piece, and he's one of the government's best. Was one of the government's best remote viewers.
All right, let's get to Lee's question, and I like this one. Has anyone ever remote viewed you?
Oh,
and
boy.
I'm gonna add to this. Okay, can you pick it up when someone is remote viewing or astral traveling to see you?
Boy, fabulous questions tonight. I swear, all the years I've been doing radio shows, these questions tonight have been just fantastic. Usually in a 2-hour, we got 2.5 hours here. Usually in a 2-hour show, I'm bored to death at the last hour and a half. The last half hour of the show. But yes, you can. Well, for instance, the government's original remote viewing team. Now, this is about 20 years ago. Were remote viewing me, and I didn't know that. But I got a letter from them saying, an unknown country schmuck like me. Why? But this is when the Bradshaw Ranch was really heating up. So I think it's that. So anyway, a friend of mine whose name I won't mention, I said, you signed this letter. He was one of the government's original remote viewers, and your signature's on this letter. And he said, what? I never sent anything like that. Are you? And I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah. No, so anyway, so another one of these things. But so anyway, can you tell if somebody's remote viewing? Absolutely. Everything, when you do something, when you say you travel somewhere, or you're thinking about somebody, a stream of light will go from you to them. As an example, I was at the airport in Sedona about 20 years ago, and suddenly I stopped instantly because something was probing my mind. So I stopped right there, and I was trained how to do this at the Berkeley Psychic Institute. I found a stream of energy coming from wherever this thing was coming from, and I followed it back. This is something I'm very good at. I could talk about this for another hour, but so I followed the energy back, and it went to Poland. So I'm in this room looking at these two people. They're both dressed in black. They're intensely in concentration, and they're remote viewing me. Then they realized I was in the room with them, and it was really hilarious. It really was. They started laughing hilariously, so it was a good joke for all of us. But they were probably, why they were remote viewing me, I'm not sure. How they even found out about me, I'm not sure. But yes, you can absolutely be remote viewed by somebody else. I've done it. As long as you don't do things with intent to harm, you're good with remote viewing, or use it in a bad way. You use it in a bad way to intentionally harm people in whatever way, it's going to come back on you. You have to use it for good always.
All right, Nikki is asking, have you ever seen a government book that's approximately 6,000 pages and from multiple agencies, where the book is all about what they know about aliens?
No, never heard of it. Does such a book exist?
I don't know. I don't know.
Never heard. Yeah, never heard of it. But they they don't need to write a book. They know everything. From bits and pieces I've got from government people, like Emery Smith. Emery Smith is a top-notch guy. I met him. I know him. He's a great guy, and he's telling the truth. So, the government knows everything. They know everything. That's why they don't want us to know. They've said, the U.S. military has said that they will never tell the U.S. public what they know about extraterrestrials. That's on record.
Yeah, that's not cool.
No,
not cool
not at
all. All right, let's move on here. Jules is asking, do you teach SRI protocols, CRV, or even ERV? And for people who may not know what those mean, maybe you can explain that too.
You mean Stephen Griggs?
No, SRI protocols and controlled remote viewing.
No, I don't know. I really don't know what that is. But I mean, I'm a freelancer. I don't. I'm on my own turf. I mean, I don't do what other people do. So probably not. And do I? Am I cautious? Am I kind with? Take precautions about where I go and if any damage might come of it, or could I damage myself? I'm careful about that, but I'm not like other people. I don't do what other people do. I never have. I mean, I'm a freelancer. I'm a rogue. But gotcha. I don't ever do anything that somebody would get hurt, intentionally.
No. Right. All right. As we move on here, I got to ask you, in regards to remote viewing and astral travel, in your opinion, what is the difference between the two?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. Well, it's two completely different things. Astral travel. I've gone to teachers with astral travel, and that's your soul self traveling, and remote viewing is you are projecting your subconscious. So it's really, there's no connection whatsoever between the two. I've been asked that a lot, and there's nothing in common with the two. Nothing.
All right. Gary is asking, can people remote view into the future? Or if people can remote view into the future, then will future events like wars be avoided?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think yes, but I've seen the stuff the government remote viewers do, and evidently the future is changing just enough so that they can't get a line on it. Why it's changing, I don't know. I don't spend much time looking into the future. Actually, very little, and I don't remote view all that much unless it's something I'm interested in. But yes, that's why I would dearly wish that there would be 1 million remote viewers that could remote view like I do, because you could probably go into the future and stop a nuclear war. It's remote viewing is that. Poignant and pertinent, and it's a remote viewing is a powerful thing. So I really hope that people, learn remote viewing and use it in a good way.
All right. We got about 4 minutes here left with you tonight. Let's move on. Tom Dongo, our guest. Bulbuck is asking, how many remote viewers do you think the United States Navy and the Pentagon have?
Yeah, boy, another good question. I'd have to take a wild guess because I know a few of them. Good ones, I would say less than 50.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'd say less than 50, maybe not even that.
I could see that. Yeah, I could, I thought it would be in that 100 range, but 50, and I don't have any evidence or proof of that. I was just taking a guess, but I guess they would want to keep that team small.
Yeah, well, I know, a few of the government remote viewers, and I know, that there aren't that many of them that are good. So they can't. I mean, the really good remote viewers are very few. So I would definitely say less than 50, maybe even down to 25. Good ones, really good ones.
Right. All right. Natalie is asking, as you mentioned hybrids moments ago, are all hybrids on Earth right now government made, or are there natural born ones also? What is the difference between them?
No, there are no natural born. They're in the beginning. Extraterrestrials were hybridizing humans. They were half extraterrestrial and half human. Now, according to Emery Smith, and I believe every word, the government is hybridizing extraterrestrials. And I believe Emery said they've hybridized 21 different extraterrestrial races, 21 different extraterrestrials, and I believe it because was it David Jacobs? I think that's his name. Yeah, David Jacobs. He said that we have got to understand hybrids better than we do because they're in a threatening position for us hybrids now. That's a tough one. That's a that's a tough one even for me, remote viewing and all that, because they're not visible. They're not here. So anyway, that's a good question.
All right. Fitness Girl is asking, have you ever remote viewed something you wish you hadn't?
Yeah, two things. My girlfriend having sex with another man and watching a murder.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. My friend, we got about 90 seconds left with you tonight, and I'm going to get to Davey's question here, and he's asking, have you heard of anything here recently in British Columbia, remote viewing-wise, worth any sort of info? Anything? And that's Davey, not this Dave. Not this Dave, the other Dave.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No. Bigfoot would be the thing. I haven't done any remote viewing in BC, but Bigfoot would definitely be on the agenda for that because Bigfoot is the hotbed of Bigfoot activity.
Oh yeah. Might even go into the forest to try and search for them tomorrow as well. Mr. Tom Dongo, I want to say a big thank you for you coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight for the first time. I had a lot of fun with you. I know our audience had a lot of fun listening to you as well. I hope you enjoyed your time here.
Yeah, it's been a blast, Dave. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed the tonight, the show. Yeah, it was great. Really great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we're going to give a shout out to your website once again, which is tomdongo.com. You can find out all about Tom's 8 books that he has written on there, as well as his remote viewing on his Facebook page. So make sure you check that on out. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, we got the SOR Newswire, and we have the Thought of the Dave. So make sure you stay tuned and hang on out with us, because we got a lot more of this show left. And we kind of need you to keep the numbers up. So hang on out with us. It's going to be fun. We'll be right back.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from dance to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us. We want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including Rocking Out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. In just a moment here, we're going to hook up with a good buddy of mine across Canada. His name is Drex. He's got the shift going on right now out of Vancouver, and we are going to hook up with him. And here we go. And
stations right around the world. Let's say hi to Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio. Dave, welcome back to the shift. How are you, sir?
My man, how are you? Thank you so much for hanging on out with us tonight. It's always a pleasure to be with you on Tuesday nights.
You know what? I've been because it's for those of you that listen to Dave's show and my show as well, and for those of you that live in Canada, today is Canada Day. And I've been asking people to tell me all their favorite Canadian songs. But I wanted to bring up a list that you found on the internet of because we are in COVID-19 times and a lot of countries are asking people to be tourists in their own backyard. You actually found online somewhere a list of really awesome, strange, somewhat haunted, somewhat just odd or interesting places to visit right across the country while we're staying at home.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because you know what? There's a little bit of woo out there for just about anybody who likes it, Drex. I mean, you know, we're getting you into this whole woo category. That's why you bring us on to kind of weird things up. So we figured, let's look across Canada. And I came across an article written by a gentleman named Chris Rutkowski, who is a famous Canadian UFO researcher out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Great guy as well. Fantastic hair on him as well. You know, we like good hair around here. So he developed this list of weird, unusual places that anybody in Canada or anybody vacationing to Canada can check out and maybe cross off their list. You know, if you want to go to Sasquatch and look for Sasquatch, there's a number of places where this creature has been seen, and we'll give a couple of these. You know, if you go near Harrison Hot Springs.
Let me stop you right there, because
I'm
the
stopping.
first one on the list I have already ticked off my bucket list, which is Sasquatch Trail, just east of Osoyoos. There is a housing estate there, and this housing estate has all these amazing bronze statues of elk and deer and bear, and they do indeed have a Sasquatch there.
See, I have to get there. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet, but we do know that in that entire area, straight on through from Osoyoos, right through the canyon that leads right up through Skaha Lake and Okanagan Lake, there is a multitude of Sasquatch sightings, UFO sightings, and, of course, the Ogopogo.
Ah, the Ogopogo, Kelowna's mysterious Nessie cousin that no one has ever been able to find at any stage.
I still think it's a sturgeon, my friend. I hate to be the woo breaker there, but I believe it's a sturgeon. That's just me. I mean, if you've seen some of these monsters that have come out of the Fraser River, if you ever go on a sturgeon fishing tour on the Fraser River, and I highly suggest you do if you ever have.
They look like an Ogopogo, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. Big white in the water. You know, dude, we hooked onto one a couple of years ago when we were fishing out near Mission, and we never saw it, but what we did know was that we had to cut the line because the front of the boat was starting to go underwater upstream.
Oh, yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, that's
big. That's big.
Yeah, that is.
But you also...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say in Alberta, the thing I haven't checked out yet is the UFO landing pad. That's a must do. I always have people mentioning this to me.
Absolutely, it's in St. Paul. It was built in 1967. Here's the irony of this. Okay, 2 months previous in 1967, we have the Falcon Lake incident in Manitoba, where Stefan Mikulik was actually burned on his chest by a UFO. Okay, and we've talked about that on this show. And then, or back then, Paul Hellyer, the Minister of Defense, was in charge, And Paul Hellyer, the man who now says at 96 years old that Canada has been in touch with 5 different extraterrestrial species, was the man who cut the ribbon on the UFO Museum in St. Paul, Alberta. How weird is that?
Wow.
How weird is
still
that?
on the Privy Council to this day as well. Yep, still on the Privy Council as well.
Drives me nuts. Drives me nuts.
Yeah, I love that we've mixed Sasquatch, where we could maybe see those to UFOs, and now we get to hauntings. Tell me about the Banff Springs Hotel. This is one that's always on people's list as well, right?
Absolutely. And you know what's strange about it is the Banff Springs Hotel will not allow anybody to investigate the ghosts there. And apparently there is one haunted room that I believe it's on the 12th or 14th floor, which could be the 13th floor if you know like that, where there is a room there that it had some freaky stuff happen back 50, 60, 70 years ago, that people claim that there is children yelling and screaming and a woman screaming, and it's scary. But the biggest famous ghost in the Banff Springs Hotel is the bellhop, who apparently to this day, every now and again, will literally meet you in the hallway, take your luggage up to your room, and when you're reaching into your wallet to tip him, he disappears before you can give the money.
Creepy.
Still doing his job. Loves the Banff Spring Hotel. But let's not forget, too, Banff is also surrounded by beautiful mountains, and there are a lot of Bigfoot stories around there as well. So when you are out in the Banff area, make sure you keep your cameras ready, because the ghosts and the Sasquatch are all around you just waiting to pose for your picture.
All right, Manitoba's got a few places like this, too. Falcon Lake, we mentioned that. That is worth a visit. Manitoba also has their own Ogopogo known as Manipogo.
Yes.
I didn't even know about this.
I didn't even know about this until a few weeks ago, that there was actually a sea monster in there. Now, there is one alleged photograph of it. To me, it looks absolutely photoshopped. And a horrible photoshopping at that. You know, it looks like a worm that's skimming across a puddle, to be absolutely blunt. Apparently, it has been seen northeast of Dauphin, Manitoba, and this creature is said to go back for hundreds of years. It's very famous in First Nations and Indigenous legends and lore. However, it doesn't have the same mystique of its western cousin, the Ogopogo. How often is it seen? Nobody really knows. I mean, we have tried to get information on this for this show, and it is tough. It is very tough, because not a lot of people have come forward to talk about what they have seen in Lake Manitoba.
Yeah, I can imagine. Hey, listen, there's two that stuck out on the list for me from Ontario that I wanted to mention. First is the Bob Lowe Island in Amherstburg, which is this old amusement park that's now abandoned. It's said to be haunted. But the one that really frightens me, and I wonder if our buddy Mark, who lives in Port Perry, can confirm this, or somebody in Ontario. But I believe this to be true, because I've heard this before. The Scugog Island Ghost Light. Tell me about this light.
Well, this is said to be from a motorcyclist who is still riding. I mean, man, they got their own Ghost Rider there. You know, maybe it's Nicolas Cage filming another movie. I don't know. All right. But they've got this gentleman who rides around on a motorcycle. You see it a lot in the foggy areas of the town. There has been a couple of photographs of weird, strange lights coming down the road. And by the time vehicles pass whatever it is, it's not even there. I mean, it's a little freaky. Yeah. We've heard stories around the world of things like this happening, where lights just seem to appear, and then by the time you get close to it, it is gone, absolutely gone. And, you know, this is one of those little town folklore stories that if you can, maybe you get a chance to see it. Whether it brings an omen or something ominous happening to you, it's still a story to be told.
Yeah, no, absolutely it is. Hey, listen, one of the other stories that needs to be told tonight as well is there are some folks within the American government that believe the Pentagon should be releasing UFO information. And not just anybody in the government. We're talking as the Senate Intelligence Committee. This is something that they're arguing. What have you learned in the last few days here?
Well, I could learn that nobody is in Canada is talking about this or asking questions. And I think that we as a media need to be asking questions north of the border as well in regards to what the Canadian government knows about UFOs. So for people who aren't familiar with what happened, is last week the head of the U.S. Intelligence Committee, Marco Rubio, state senator from Florida, he actually wrote for finances and money to be allotted for UFO research. Now, this has never been done in a long time. I think the last time this was done was around the 50s and 60s when there was quite the UFO flap. But over the years, it's kind of gone into the backwoods. But after apparently seeing the videos provided by the United States Navy and the U.S. Air Force, there is some concern among some of the senators involved on the Intelligence Committee wanting to know what is invading American airspace. Is it Russian? Is it North Korean? Is it Chinese? Is it earthly or not? And they want to throw taxpayers' money at this to see what we can find out publicly. But the interesting part about this is, and I don't buy how much they're going to do this. I mean, that's just a personal opinion. But they're saying that they want to be able to have this on the budget and get it passed for 2021 in the Intelligence Authorization Bill. And they want all the interesting items that are found through this to become public to American citizens. I find that intriguing, considering a lot of this stuff and a lot of these stories have been so shoved down the top secret ladder that they will never come up from the ground. And now that all of a sudden this has taken a new turn, and we got to give credit where credit is due. I have been very harshly critical of Tom DeLonge's To the Stars Academy group, but two of his members, Chris Mellon, who is a former assistant DIA in the U.S. government, along with Lou Elizondo, who ran the UFO program just a few years ago before retiring.
You think that they could possibly be funded as propaganda by the U.S. government? That's one of the things you think, right?
I don't think it's propaganda. I think they want to know what the heck is going on, because they're not going to get the secrets from deep within, and this is a way to bring the story public to see what is actually happening. And is there a threat? And, if we turn this to a Canadian side of things, all right, being that you're Australian, but broadcasting in Canada. I'm Canadian, and many Canadians who are listening to this, we need to know what our own country knows. Our country, since Wilbur Smith passed away, has been extremely quiet on the UFO front. Even through all of this, where we have seen the Canadian media cover the American videos regarding the UFO phenomena, not a single reporter in this country has asked any politician, what's Canada's role with UFOs? And it's time that we start asking. We may be surprised by the answers that we get.
Who's going to be that journalist, though? Who's going to be that journalist, though? Because you're a journalist. You worked in a newsroom for many years. If you took that to a news director and said, hey, listen, I'm going to interview the Prime Minister today. Can I ask him what Canada knows about UFOs? Your news director is going to crucify you.
Exactly. But somebody has to have the dignity and the respect for the job to ask the question. Even if you only get... Here's the thing. If you have your whole interview planned with, say, Prime Minister Trudeau, and you got that 30 seconds left or less, throw it in there. What's the worst that's going to happen? He's going to say, we don't know. At least the question is asked, and we have that response. Even if it is a negative response that I don't know, we're not going to discuss that, I haven't been filled in, it needs to be asked.
I would say that those journalists are probably even hesitant to even ask that question because they'll probably get ridiculed by other journalists for asking it as well.
Absolutely, they will.
And you know that. So who is that journalist going to be? Who is the journalist out there that is hungry enough to chase that story and be able to get the press credentials to be able to ask government ministers these questions?
But you don't even have to go that far.
That's who I want to meet.
You don't even have to go that far. What about an email to your local MP?
Yeah, well, guess what? Generally, when you send an email to your local MP, you do actually get a response. So maybe we just need to start asking that question.
Let's just do it.
That's what we need to be doing.
Let's just do it. You know what? This is what I'll do. I have my local MP here. I will send her an email this week And next week when we do this, I will report if she responded or not.
I love it. Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio. Dave, we've got to run. But man, I appreciate you jumping on with us. Thank you so much for all the different places we can go during the summer vacation here. And thanks for the update on the UFO stuff out of the U.S. as well. That's pretty fascinating stuff, man. We'll chat next week, all right?
Talk to you next week, Rex. Take care. All right. Here we go with the SOR Newswire. Let's get this thing going, shall we? I am going to do that. I am going to email my member of parliament. I guess that would be the equivalent in the South of being a congressperson. I'm going to do that. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the odd. In a girls' washroom here in British Columbia high schools in December 2018, two students faced off. Both clutched cell phones, which had served to escalate a war between two rival factions of teenage girls in the months leading up to this chance meeting. But at the end of the confrontation, it was another unlikely object that a provincial court judge would declare a weapon. A boiling hot bowl of ramen noodles that one of the girls, a 14-year-old grade 9 student, hurled into the chest of her 15-year-old victim. The details are spelled out in a youth court judgment that provides a vivid window into teen violence, the insidious power of social media to stoke and fuel resentments, and the efforts of high school administrators to address behavior they largely felt powerless to. And in trying to apply the law, the police trying to get complex facts underlying a teenage feud, Judge Judith Doulis was also asked to consider whether the accused had acted in self-defense as she claimed, as a zombie-like automaton, powerless to the control or remembers her actions. The victim was convicted, the person who did it was convicted of assault and assault with a weapon using ramen noodles last week in a provincial court, and the attack left the victim in need of skin grafts after suffering second and third degree burns. Oh, that's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Stupid story of the night, and I'm shaking my head over this one. A 72-year-old California woman was gored by a bison in Yellowstone National Park. The woman approached the bison to take a picture because it wouldn't stay still and pose for her in the car. She got within 10 feet of it multiple times before the bison said, "Look, lady, get out of my face," and charged her and gored her. This happened on June 25th. She sustained multiple goring wounds and was treated by rangers before being flown to Eastern Idaho Regional Medical Center for further treatment. I'm sure her bank account really appreciated that. You know, the news release says the woman approached the bison several times near her campsite in northwest Wyoming before it charged. The series of events that led to the goring suggests the bison was threatened by being repeatedly approached within 10 feet, says Chris Jeremiah, who's Yellowstone senior bison biologist. Bisons are wild animals that respond to threats by displaying aggressive behaviors like pawing the ground, snorting, bobbing their head, bellowing, and raising their tail. If that doesn't make the threat move away, a threatened bison will charge. To be safe around bison, stay at least 25 yards away, move away if they approach, and run away if they decide to charge. I mean, sometimes life is hard. Sometimes life is hard. And dealing with a wild bison for a photograph, for Facebook, might just get you a little bit hurt. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. If you approached a UFO and it landed right in front of you and the door opened, what would you do? Russell? Probably the same as most reactions: paralysis, unconsciousness, puddle of urine on the ground. Pleasant. Tim, pinch, slap myself, try to remember to get a photo with myself. Ask them to please not ask me to take you to my leader, but hey, we can head to BC. I know a guy. Oh yeah, Tim, bring him on up. Bring him on up. Tessie, thank God, get me the hell out of here. Oh my, she's rambunctious. Mary, I've been talking to them for years. It would just be a big hug. Oh, that's cute. Jim Goodall, got to bring him back on soon. I'd ask if we're okay to come on board. Yeah, no kidding. Wayne, it's about freaking time. Oh, no kidding. Kevin, I'd stand there in a stupid awe wondering why the door had no hinges. Me too. Nick, I would welcome my new alien overlords and masters and then grovel pathetically. Shauna in the UK, I'd wait around and see if Boris and Donald got out of it. That's kind of funny. Chris, get me the hell off this planet and I'll give you all the Playboy magazines you want. Oh, yeah. There we go. Vivster, when anything new in my paranormal world happens, I stare at it, feel thankful I was able to witness it, and say hello, goodbye from experience with seeing a huge orb of a Greek man who died the same morning. Dell, I'd cut down on the mushrooms. Ozzy Rob, grab a camera, take loads of pics. Jim, what the hell took you so long? Andrea has the final word of the night. Oh, look, more 2020 just arrived. Thank you for everybody taking part in the Thought of the Day. We'll do it all on Facebook and Twitter again tomorrow. Big thank you to Drex for bringing us on the shift. Captain Shirk for the SOR Newswire, much abbreviated, but you can find her news at spacedoutradio.com, and to Tom Dongo for being our guest. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, wherever you may be. Special thanks to everybody in our chat rooms on YouTube, Spreaker, the Space Travelers Club on our website, Revolution Radio, Facebook, LGAB, and to all the snarkers and snarkettes hanging out on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. We hit peak woo tonight. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Remember, everybody, the Woo train may have docked for the night, but tomorrow we shall ride again. Always remember, your seats are available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, there's room for them too. Happy Canada Day, my beautiful country. Much love to each and every one of you Canucks, coast to coast to coast. Good night.